is the Rangers Journal now.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Rangers Journal podcast. I'm your host, Scott Mackay, and I'm delighted to be joined by my esteemed panel tonight. We're waiting on Dean coming in last minute because I forgot he was on, so I've sent him a link. He should be with us in a minute. Billy, how you doing, mate?
Mate, I'm taking the place of Ross as being the crybaby tonight, I think, because I'm not in a great place with regards to this team.
Well, hopefully bringing a bit of positivity. Doug, how you doing, mate? Run mute.
Just move on, mate.
Ricky, how you doing?
Not too bad, thanks. I think it's kind of similar to everyone else, feeling a bit deflated after the performance, but hopefully we'll improve tomorrow.
I think that lag's maybe setting again, Doug. Just you'll probably get that in 5 minutes. But Ricky, how you getting on?
I'm fine, thanks, guys. Yeah, really disappointed on the big sort of show on Saturday. There's just not a lot of positives at all, and we need to get our finger out, or it's curtains already, and that's quite sad on day one, isn't it?
Yep, sure is, mate. It sure is. Right, Doug's away to restart. So, while we're waiting on Dean and Doug to join us, we'll go the nitty-gritty stuff out the way first. Hold on, I think that's Dean now. No, it's not. It's Doug. It's back again. So, first of all, Billy, give me your reaction on the game. Like, what's your thoughts now that it dust settled?
My reaction to the result, unfortunately, is that this is exactly what I expected to happen. I didn't think, looking at the pre-season games, that we were in any good way able to go to Tynecastle and come away with a victory. And now, okay, a crossbar and a post, we might be talking about a different result, but this was the result I expected this weekend, because I just don't. When you start with one new signing, and when you finish the season last season knowing that you needed big changes, that's indicative of where we are as a team at the moment. So it wasn't a great watch. To be fair, that's not true. It was a great watch if you're a neutral, because it was like pinball back and forward. But from a Rangers point of view, it's not a good. It's again a bad start to the season, which we talked about recently, not wanting to repeat last season. I guess we're a point better off. But I don't think there's a lot good to take from that result of the weekend.
Aye, definitely, mate. Definitely. On the plus side, there's been previous seasons where we have drawn in the first game of the season and we went on to win the league. So that's the straw I'm kind of clutching at just now. Ricky, how's your sell, mate?
Well, just picking up on your point there, Scotty, Tynecastle, first game away from home, is a tough. It's a tough fixture. Going to Celtic Park there, Aberdeen are always going to be tough fixtures for us. Their tails were up. They know we've got problems at the moment with the team trying to settle down. So if we're going to have any positives from that game, coming away from Edinburgh with a point in the first game of the season isn't the end of the world. But the performance wasn't there, and that for me is a worrying factor. We've got a huge game tomorrow, which we're probably going to touch on later on. And the way we are playing against a team that whacked, their opponents 9-2 in the previous round, that's a tall order for us tomorrow. And every one of us are hoping we're going to go there and get a result. We're going to do that. I just can't see it. I can't see it.
Doug, what about you, mate? What's your initial reaction now that it does settle to the 0-0 draw on Saturday? Dean, how you doing, pal?
I'm good, thank you, mate. How are you getting on?
Aye, not bad at all, mate. Not bad at all. Make sure, welcome to the show. Welcome to all the new viewers that have tuned in since we came in 5 minutes ago. How you feeling after that performance on Saturday, mate?
No any different, to be quite honest with you. I think we were all anticipating it. So, set yourself up for disappointment to begin with, aren't you? And then when it happens, you're disappointed or words to that effect, if you get me. It was just kind of frustrating that we were second best all throughout the match. And I mean, that's quite disappointing. Doesn't matter if you know the majority of the players that played were there last season or whatever. You know, we're second best throughout the match. You know, and it's quite startling, I think. And it's going to be a long time until we're going to be probably anticipating a positive outcome.
Aye, definitely, mate. I thought I was back in the gallant mute there. Right, so player ratings. First, just for all our listeners on Spotify, we've done a couple of slides tonight. Some player ratings is the first one that's come up, and probably what's kind of laughable is that Ben Davies has managed to get a 7.3 rating, and John Stutters had a 7.2. James Tavernier was the best one with a 7.4. I think so. I think the guy at SofaScore must have been drunk when he's done this. And Ridvan Yilmaz was 7.3. Jack Butland 7.9, as probably deserved. Billy, what's your initial thoughts on all that, mate?
That's wild, mate. I don't know who put that together, because for me, Conor Barron was my man of the match. He covered the whole park, and he's getting compared to Ryan Jack. I would say he likes to break a bit further forward than Ryan Jack does, because he got that shot away in the first half that was just bounced in front of the goalkeeper. Good opportunity. But yeah, I don't know where these ratings come from, because Ben Davies getting hooked at half-time is indicative of the performance he was having. He was getting ragdolled from the word go. The Hearts forward was just kind of leading them all over the place. Tav doesn't look like he's fit. I'm going to say that in the fairest way, because I'm also maybe leaning towards that maybe it just is what he's capable of now. I mean, he wasn't getting forward. I guess in the second half when Cherny came on, he was overlapping him a couple of times at that point, but certainly for the first 60 minutes, he didn't seem to want to get out his own half. And as I say, I don't remember Yilmaz much. Tom Lawrence, again, he just doesn't seem like he likes to, unless you're going to just give him the ball, he's not really capable of influencing the match. And I mean, he had a good shot in the second half, unlucky. I don't know if it hits the crossbar or the keeper saves it. And again, Scott Wright, don't remember him doing anything in the game. And Dessers, I mean, why we're trying to play long balls to him? He's not Morelos. He's not able to hold the ball up. So from only really Jack Butland and Conor Barron for me get those, and I'd say Barron maybe should be on the 7.4 that Tavernier's got, because he did all right, and Butland pulled off a couple of good saves. So yeah, I don't know where did you get the ratings?
SofaScore.
Right, okay.
Where we got my stuff last season. Billy, just a quick, straight up question: does James Tavernier look as if he can be bothered being here to you anyway? Me
personally, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he is coming back from an injury and didn't feature a lot in pre-season. No, I personally don't think it's an attitude thing with him. I think even if he knew he was signing for a new team next week, he would still give all he could for us. I just don't think he's fit enough or he's got it anymore.
Ricky, I'm going to come into you now. Conor Barron got a 7.0, Mohamed Diamandi got a 6.5. Diamandi was relatively quiet, I would say, the weekend. I know Ross isn't. I think Ross is pretty on the fence when it comes to Diamandi, just as a player in general. What was your views on the midfield the weekend?
Well, Conor Barron's going to be a success for us. There's no doubt about that. The boy's attitude is fantastic. So we have found a great little player there. Considering he's going to be what a transfer academy fee, whatever it's called, we have found a real star there, because he has got everything in the making. Dare I say it, we were talking about the other day there, is he potentially a young Barry Ferguson in the mould? Certainly looks as if he could be a future skipper, because he's not scared to shout at people around about him for his age, just new to the club, and he likes to make a presence in the middle of that park. So that's all very positive for me. Conor Barron, so well done. Diamandi, however, and I know Ross, where he comes from in this, Diamandi is a very talented football player, but he hasn't got the time in the ball that he thinks he has in Scottish football. His touch at times, it's away from him by the time he looks up to his second touch. His first touch is just, sometimes it can be very good and get away from a player, and you think, wow, he's a good player. But he can't string it all together over 90 minutes for me, Diamandi, and he needs to get sharper. I think there's a player there, but he's got to sharpen up. He's got to just mentally, he's just a yard behind, you know. So I'm hoping, and I am hopeful that he will come good there, man. I haven't got a problem with that. So the two of them in there in the middle of the park are quite good. For me, the way our personnel is at the moment, I wouldn't be forcing this 4-3-3. There's just no shape to us at the moment at all. You can't see nothing. It's like going back to Michael Beale. How are the players meant to react when there's no shape? The punters can't see it. So I dare say the players are struggling as well. Why not go for a 4-4-2? Give Stutters a man up top. Play off him. You know, it's not working in this formation with the personnel that we've got. Ben Davis, I just hope that he never kicks a ball for us again. He was awful on Saturday. It was like schoolboy stuff. And even when Balogun came on, he then started to see the best of John Souttar. He felt a lot more comfortable when he had Balogun alongside him. So Davis really, he's history now. Either move him on or put him in the B team. Yilmaz, again, I've never really been convinced with him. I don't know if it's his height. I know he has moments where he gets forward and he has a shot and he does that, but I don't really see the £5 million player in him. I hope that Jeffrey comes in and starts being a little bit more productive going forward, because Yilmaz isn't producing at the moment. Again, is it the setup? I'm not sure. On the Tavernier front, Scotty, I don't think he's fit enough either, and I think he's past it. I think we should be moving him on if we can. Thanks very much for your undoubted fantastic service to the club, but he's going to be a bit like Al McGregor towards the back end of Al McGregor's. He was 2 seasons too long with us, for me personally, and James Tavernier's now falling in that same bracket. He needs to be moved on. And you know, you look at the front, Scott Wright. I mean, he was one of the reasons why we were all struggling last year. You know, with this big sort of rebuild we're going to get, and we're starting with Scott Wright again. You know, he's then Oscar. You know, Cortez gets that injury, which is another issue, I suppose. But he's getting replaced with Matondo, of all people. He's rank rotten, and to be paying £28,000 for an idiot like him, never a Rangers player. And if we keep continuing with Wright and Matondo for the rest of the season, then it's history for me. Even Dessers looked a lot better than those two players I just mentioned there on Saturday, and that's saying something.
I think personally, Riggy, with James Tavernier, I think looking at his body language and stuff for the weekend, I think there is an element of he's gave up the fight in the Rangers jersey. I think that's more than fair to say, given the lack of tracking back, the lack of urgency in his play now. You can be unfit and not play football in 6 months, but you can still run about and give it a breath. You know what I mean? And he's not even willing to do that.
What I would say to that, Scotty, and I think we can all remember 3-4 seasons ago when the Candias was in alongside him, both of them supporting each other, overlapping. Even when Seaman's in the team, Tavernier doesn't seem to be lost, because you've got Seaman working hard to cover him when he's up the park and the ball's lost in the final third. We never really see that James Tavernier of old ever since Candias left. And we were always screaming for this right side midfielder. Now we've brought in Czerny, and let's hope that he can get the best out of Tavernier, because in his brief spell that he came on Saturday, I think we'll definitely get something from him once he settles down and he gets his match fitness. He's a quality player, and I think him alongside Tavernier on the right hand side, you may get a bit better performance out of James Tavernier. But yeah, Scotty, he's struggling. It seems a lot in that team. He's definitely struggling.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. Dino, I'll let you take it for the front four in terms of Cortez, Tom Lawrence, Scott Wright, and Cyril Dessers. I mean, I'm fed up. Speaking about Cyril Dessers, I've literally had it up to here with the guy. I've criticised him, I've backed him, I've sat in the fence with him. He's just not good enough, and the service he's getting isn't good enough. So, where were you with the kind of with Cortez, Lawrence, Wright, and Dessers for Saturday, mate?
Well, here's something for you. If you have a centre forward playing for us on Saturday that's got composure, we're scoring goals. The complete lack of composure is embarrassing at professional level. I mean, that's understandable at amateur, maybe junior level, but professional football players should not lack so much composure. And somebody had suggested if Dessers was on penalties last season, he would have been on 30 odd goals. And I would be shocked if he even scored half the amount of penalties that Tav scores. And that's not an exaggeration. He's not good enough for our football club. Simple as that. Our setup was like really bizarre because Cortez and Wright were almost playing inverted, right? And, you know, there was no overlap, right? So the fullbacks didn't ken what the wingers were doing and the wingers didn't ken what the fullbacks were doing, right? So there was no fluidity there. Like, you know, like Cortez is rapid. Let him hug the touchline. Use his pace to your advantage. But no, didn't happen. Scott Wright, I've said enough on him previously, and nothing's changed. Tom Lawrence, I think, is, you know, other than his shot, which, I mean, incredibly great technique to get that shot away, because he's, you know, that's one thing about him, that's one of his main attributes, is his ability to shoot from distance and things like that. But other than that, I can't really see what he brings to the side. He's been, man, if, you know, you're number 10, like, you've got to be, I guess, you know, the main man, so to speak. In my opinion, that's the number 10 role for me, for our side. And he just looks lost out there on that pitch, doesn't he? So we're in dire need of getting somebody in to play that role. And yeah, I mean, Dessers, like, here's a question for y'all. If Dessers plays at Hearts, is he starting for Hearts?
No comment. I'm passing that one on to Billy.
I mean, I think that was a loaded question, that one, wasn't it? You know, but look, see, just looking at that team, if we are planning on playing this season with James Tavernier in his current form, Ben Davis, Tom Lawrence, Cyril Dessers, we're not winning anything. So, and then to be fair to the manager did say the other day there that the team that we have at the moment will look completely different by the beginning of September. So fair enough. We can't wait for that day to come quick enough. But we're not winning anything, in my opinion, with those players. Add into that some of the, you know, Scott Wright as well. We've been wanting to move him on for what, 2-3 seasons now, and he's still there. He isn't of the quality that we need. And then we're playing a number 10 in Tom Lawrence, but he's not good enough, and we don't have any other players that can play that point. So why are we playing the number 10? Why don't you do is, you know, as Ricky is saying, you know, I don't know, 4-4-2 is the best thing, but just not playing that number 10 role. Dessers is too isolated up there because Tom Lawrence can't, you know, get up to support him quick enough. So it's you need to change. And my main worry, Scotty, is none of us can see what the formation's meant to, like, what the manager's trying to do. There's no discernible ethos of that team. No. Even the players he's bringing in, okay, they're not all there yet. We're hoping we'll put a few more, but it doesn't seem to be signing players to a certain style either. So that's what's worrying. I'll pass on to you, Ricky, because I think you were going to come in as well.
Well, I know Cantwell has his problems at the moment, whether that's a fallout with the manager, with the board, with the club, with the fans. Whether he's going to come back into the fray, we're not sure. But he is a far better technical player than what Tom Lawrence is, and he's got a bigger engine. But I've said that in the pod previously. Hadji has just come back from the Euros, went the furthest as any sort of a player in Scotland in the Euros. We know he's got ability. He's got a left, he's got a right foot. Yes, he's not got a turn or a burst of pace, but you don't need that in the number 10 role. But he's got a good football brain. Get him in there, try him. What has he done to be the one who's been ousted by Beale He's now got the chance to come back, and I know he's just come back from late, just being married apparently, but he's back in Ibrox now. Get him in the squad. Get him connecting, with these. Because if you need a number 10, if he's going to stick with that role, give it the job to Hadji and see how he gets on. I can't understand how he's been so pick-headed and not giving the boy a chance in there. He's got 2 good feet.
Aye, definitely. I'm going to move us on now for the kind of player ratings aspect. Billy, I'm going to come back to you on the style of play that we've got. So, it seems to be very much a long ball outfit at the minute, I would say. And then, as I've got on the slide here on the right-hand side, I only wanted to bring 1 point up of this. Accurate long balls was 23 with a 43% hit mark. A Jack Butland putting it long. So we can't even get that right. What's going on?
I don't think that the long ball is by design, but certainly not by the manager. I think the long ball is lack of composure throughout the team. You go to Hearts, they're going to be, they're going to press you, they're going to be up at you, and the players, especially when Diamande was constantly getting caught with the ball. What I noticed as well is when we did try to play balls, closer to each other, they're either overhit or underhit, and a Hearts player would come in and nick it. So this long ball thing for me just seemed to come out of desperation of not being able to get out your own half. And if the players can't do that against Hearts, how are they going to do it in the Champions League? How are they going to do it? The Europa League should be end up there. So it's just a complete lack of quality across the side. I'm sorry I'm not more cheery tonight, mate. It's just been a kind of gut punch this weekend because it's been
Close us.
We've all seen we've seen well, as I said earlier, I've seen it coming.
Can I say something?
2 seconds, 2 seconds, mate. I think it's a fear of reality setting in, Billy, to be honest. That's what I'm kind of sitting thinking anyway. Dean, sorry, what were you going to say, mate?
I'm pretty sure it was early on in the match, really early on. Jack Butland gets the ball, long ball straight to their keeper. I mean, that is just absolutely ridiculous. That is what we are doing. I mean, that way of playing in at Rangers is just unfathomable. That like what are we playing at? Why is that? As Billy said, the lack of composure. And that as everybody said, the players didn't get what they're doing. They didn't If you actually seen it as well, the players, some players were wanting to hurry things up, other players were wanting to slow things down. It can't be both ways. It has to be one way or the other for it to work. So you've got some players who are just wanting, keep the ball, but then you've got the players who are wanting to fast. And I mean, same old. And I'd hate to bang this drum, but every time we were getting a corner, it was slow jog to take the corner. And I'm like, come what I mean? I'm like, what are you actually doing? Hurry up. Do you want to win this match? So I was just, the lack of, I guess, game plan, I think, is definitely there for everybody to see, in my opinion.
Well, Ricky, we'll see these average positions. Is there anything that stands out to you about those kind of stats there? Again, for people just listening, we've got the average positions of the players up on the screen at the moment.
Well, most of the games obviously been bossed in the middle of the park, isn't it? 5 across the middle of the park there.
Scotland's where I'd expect them to be.
Yeah. I'm sure your 2 centre halves are exactly the same, but there's no width there at all. I mean, if that's where they're sitting, basically the midfield are dominating. Both sides are dominating the pitch there. If that's the kind of heat map, if you like. So yeah, it was a game that either team could have went on and win, and that probably just proves that there was no. It'd be interesting to see where the Hearts sort of the players were sort of settled down after the average possession of the 90 minutes. But certainly that looks to me as if it was a right midfield tussle trying to dominate the game in the middle of the park there. Just going on to the long ball kind of scenario there, just quickly, Billy. Connor Golston was the one man that could ping a 30-yard, 40-yard ball onto somebody's foot. Everybody else seems to think they can do it. They can't. Connor Golston could do it and regularly done it and put us on the front foot. But that's not how, Steno said. We should not. We're Rangers, for God's sake. The ball, it should be getting front to back, using the midfield, nice little passes. And again, I'm going to bring in Hadji's the man that can link that because he's got the brain to do it. Doesn't need the pace. Just get the ball into him. He's intelligent enough to drop off their centre half as a number 10, and he can link the play. We don't have any linking play at the moment. And I think we're probably lacking that type of player. And we've got Hadji that can do it.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that, Rick, if I can come in. I think it's what we've seen when is mirror image to what we were seeing at the beginning of last season when Michael Beale sold nearly every winger that was at a club and kept Rabbi Matondo. Basically, that's what he done. He was playing narrow and Clement set up narrow. I mean, that's not on the players. That's on the manager's setup and tactical formation of the team. Having Ridvan, etc., coming in field 1 minute, staying on the byline the next. Cherny, I don't even know where to start with the guy because I felt sorry for him the other day because I don't think he knew what Tav was doing. I don't even think Tav knew what he was doing. One thing that we got when Clement came in was clarity on players' positions, players' roles, tactics. We knew exactly what we were going to do, and that all seems to be missing just now in the managers. Am I being a wee bit dramatic here in the sense of I think the managers had 6 weeks now to fix this problem on the training pitch?
No, I don't think he's being dramatic at all, mate. He told us that he needed this pre-season to kind of reset and get the fitness thing all done, and then what happens? We lose Cortez at the beginning of the second half, isn't it? So we're signing these players that still have these injury issues, which again you can say, well, you never know. It's not his fault he gets injured. That's fair enough, but we have from my point of view, there's no one out in the pitch for a start dictating what we should be doing. And it doesn't seem like Clement is doing much for the sideline because he couldn't have been happy with these long balls up to big Hearts defenders that just mop up. So where is the leadership coming? I think you said earlier on, Ricky, Connor Barnes not scared to give a shouting at the players round about him, but I didn't see that from anybody else, and I didn't see it from the manager. He didn't seem as upset or with a lack of urgency that I was watching the game.
Aye. I think it's just the general feeling that we're all a wee bit deflated tonight after hoping we would be pleasantly surprised on Saturday, and we're not. I think all our fears are coming to fruition. Dino, what's your thoughts on the whole style of play thing? You gave a wee bit of a speech earlier on what you thought was happening with wingers and the fullbacks, etc. What do you think we're trying to do?
I don't actually think that there's a set out plan, just because I think, as I'll just reiterate, the players don't look like they seem to be following the same game plan. Like as I say, some players are wanting to hurry things up, but at the same time, other players are wanting to slow things down. It's got to be one or the other. So that, to me, is not being set out by the manager, because the players are obviously in their heads thinking that that's what they've to do. So therein lies a breakdown in communication. So that needs obviously fixed. And with wanting to play this number 10 role, but then we're playing with inverted wingers, which are essentially inverted 10s, which we had under Gerrard. And Barisic and Tav knew what they were doing then. Everybody in world football knew our game plan, but there was a game plan. Fair enough, it took Gerrard a while to get that style of play as our blueprint, but we all knew what it was. And doesn't, like, as I'm saying, like, if we're playing with a number 10, you're not, like, it doesn't make sense to be having inverted wingers. Like, Cortez coming in is, like, why are you bringing him in to run into a bunch of players? when you've got space and he's got the legs. It's no rocket science. I'm no saying I'm some great football analyst and tactician, but I was a winger myself and I was fast. Very seldom anybody could ever keep up with me, but that was the game plan. Knock it down the wing, I'll get to the ball. Okay, what I mean? So although football is a bit different and Cortez can, he's got good trickery and things like that, but why is his like game plan, like why is he coming inside and running into folk? Ken Scott Wright does that anyway, but Cortez has obviously got ability, so you want to be utilising that ability, and we're not. Like, what's...
Yeah. I know. Right, there's a game tomorrow night. Barry, how do we change the narrative and the mood?
Probably come to the wrong person, mate, because if that's the team we're going in with, we're up against now. I have no idea how good the team they beat. Was it 9-2? Was it? Is it Belgrade they played? I can't remember.
Partizan, yeah.
So I've no idea how good they are, but scoring 9 goals in 2 games is a pretty good achievement. And I know I've listened to a few commenters today and a couple of various podcasts talk about how they can be got at the back. But which one of those forward 4 or 5 players do you think is going to get at any defence? It's a bad state. All this morning, mate, I volunteered to do the post match, and I regretted it ever since I said that I was going to do it, because the more and more as I thought back on this weekend, is that there's no discernible style of play at the moment. There's no player that's you're going to be, we can give the ball to him and rely on him. Maybe the way when Cantwell came in and he gave us hope when that first half of the season, like get the ball to him, he'll do something. It's not like we've got James Tavernier flying, so we can give the ball to him and he'll do something. There's nobody in that team right now that's you would stick your house on being they'll dig us out of a hole tomorrow night. I don't want to see. Obviously, we're Rangers. Every game we want to win. We should win, but that's maybe unrealistic with the squad currently. Again, we've pulled out. We were in a similar position last season, and we managed to pull out qualifying through the group. So maybe these players can, whatever special coffee Clement was giving them last season to get them to win that game, then we can maybe try that. But they don't. I mean, I'm not just being negative for the sake of negative. I'm usually quite upbeat about the team, but that on Saturday just, that was your fears. The team haven't moved on from last season when we urgently needed new players coming in. No new, bar one player started. I mentioned that second time, but that's a terrible state to be in. That's okay if we were winning the league last season or winning, the league and the Scottish Cup. Maybe we don't need to upgrade the team, but we needed to upgrade the team because it totally collapsed. I mean, what was reading today, that 6 wins out of the last 16 competitive games. You've given Clement a new contract, but if he keeps that run going, he isn't going to last, and there's nothing you can really do about it because there's nothing in this. There's no spark in the team. There's no joy in watching them. It felt like even in the pre-season, I was watching it just for the sake of seeing what the new players were like, but I wasn't really looking forward to it. And I've got that feeling tomorrow night. I hope I'm wrong, mate. I do. I hope I'm wrong.
Ricky, if you're Phil come on tomorrow night, what do you do?
Well, providing everybody's fit, and we just don't know how this is, do we? I would certainly be starting the big centre-half proper. I mean, 20 finished 3rd in the Dutch league, good technical league, and he was their skipper, so he can't be a bad player. Again, it's all to do with fitness. I put Balogun alongside him, so you've got that height. And Balogun, he might be about 36, 37 now, whatever it is, but he's still got a good turn of pace. He can recover over 20 yards, Balogun, quite easily. So that's the 2 centre-halves I had to find tomorrow night. Where is Sterling? Where is he? So potentially I would have Barron and Sterling as the 2 holding midfielders because Diomande is just off the pace at the moment. He's short of that yard or 2 mentally, maybe not physically, but mentally, as I mentioned earlier on. Cherney, get him in there from the start. Let him create and let him see what he can do for us. And if it is going to be Matondo or Wright in the other wing, if it is Matondo, which it probably will be, Dino, you're absolutely bang on, mate. What is his biggest strength? It's his pace. get it down the line and go for it. Get past your fullback. Because if they're going to play high, especially try and drag them and play them high and use that opportunity with that ball over the top, ideally not, into his feet, the 1-2, that number 10, get it into the channel and let him buzz onto it. That's how we can maybe try and get in behind them, by using Matondo's pace. But if I can see all that, I mean, I'm just a normal punter, the same as the rest of us. It's just, I don't really get. They probably go there and they'll probably just sit in and try to get some from the game. Even a 1-0 defeat will probably be seen as some sort of success over the kind of rate that they're scoring goals. The only thing I know about them is they're a team it's very united. Obviously, they've got a country that's at war, so that alone sort of brings them all together. They've got the willingness to go and do well for their country, not just their club, and that's understandable. But they've also got the Ukrainian big striker who he's lost a yard of pace now. I forget his name now, but I think everybody recognises him. And that boy can finish, so we'll have to be careful. But if we bring proper in, and it is the cross coming over, which is good near it, then hopefully we can combat that with both Balogun and proper in the two centre positions for us. Left back, with Jeffy or Midvan, I'm not really that sure. I think we could lack a little bit of a defensive ability with Jeffy because he's a little bit like Tab. They like to get forward. I'm not too sure whether we're a unit yet where we can afford to leave those gaps in both the left and the right sort of full-back positions with our full-backs bombing forward. So it's a difficult one. I know they don't want to lose a game. They certainly don't want to come back from Poland with the game over. So to come back with just a goal deficit, well, it probably ain't the end of the world because we can win. Then hopefully win by 2 at Ibrox and we go through. So it's not the end of the world if we do come back with a goal deficit. Although I just can't see us getting them tomorrow night. I just can't.
Dino, what about you? You're Rangers manager. What do you do tomorrow night to get a result? And what would you be happy with?
I would go Walter Smith, second spell 5-4-1. I would and I would the three at the back would be proper Suter and Balogun. And then when we're attacking and we've got the ball, you've got to think John Suter's good, but with the ball at his feet, good at picking a pass out. So let him be the number 6, but let him be the sweeper as well, or spear defender, whatever word you want to use. So you've got that. Like, remember what John Lundstrom did the season we got to the final against Dortmund. He was that sort of centre half, but he was also, the player that would come out. So I don't think that would be too bad a risk. I think it'd be quite a steady risk to take. And give your midfield, alluded to the fact that Sterling needs to be playing. Him and his robustness and his physicality, him and Barron and Diomande, you let Suter then come into the sort of number 6. You can let Diomande go a bit further forward as well. So that's what I would do, because I've got no faith at all in us not getting our arses handed to us tomorrow night, just due to the the turgid display that we saw on Saturday. Now, I know that Kiev scored 9 goals against
just the 9,
but I mean, it's there's been murmurings that it was perhaps them wanting to get one over on Serbian side because Serbia have they're in alliance with Russia. So I don't know if they were even more determined to give them a spanking, so to speak. But still, that's nothing to be underestimated. So they are, in my opinion, very good technical side. They are the goals from everywhere on the pitch, everywhere. So It's not so. you know, if their centre forwards having an off game, I can assure you they'll be getting, you know, their midfielders, their full backs. You know, everybody contributes. So, and that's just going to be an awful lot for us to handle. I mean, like, no disrespect, and I know that Hearts were by and large the better side against a poor Rangers side, but Hearts, you know, if Hearts were on Saturday, you know, none of us would have been like, you know, Hearts would have deserved to win. But like, do you know, like somebody like Vargas, I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Shanklin dropped back in the 10 role, but they're playing for Hearts. You've got to think the players that we're going to be playing tomorrow night are going to be even better than them. So in terms of their quality, and we struggled. So, and how much are we going to struggle against the Dynamo players? So that's what I'm thinking. You know, old Walter Smith's 5-4-1 in Europe, and keep it as tight as possible for coming back to Ibrox, and by then hopefully we'll have a couple more signings to, you know, get us into the next round, because we get in the next round £5 million and also guaranteed group stages Europa League. So it's massive getting through these fixtures, and you've got to think you know, we don't have the players with the current team and lineup and formation to go and hurt Dynamo, in my opinion.
Good luck with signings, wish, mate. I can't see it happening. Maybe one or two if we're lucky, but I don't think there's any more than that. I don't think there's enough transfer business going out the door to bring anybody in. Right, I've put a kind of rough team of what I would like to see tomorrow night. So I've been Butland, Sterling, Balogun, Proper, Ridvan, Diamande, Barron, Lawrence in there because there's nobody else who can play 10. Cherny needs to start as far as I'm concerned. He's a good player. We brought him in on loan, play him. Matondo because Cortez obviously isn't with the team, and Dessers because there's nobody else. Billy, is there any changes that you would make to that?
You've kind of said it, mate. Who could you change? We don't. We still have Dessers as our
only. Would you give Danilo some minutes?
Well, that's the thing. I'm assuming he didn't come on at the weekend because he was hopefully maybe getting kept for this game. That's what I'm holding on to. The other side of it is he's still not fit enough, which is, I mean, it's not his fault, but it's typical of us that we've still got Dessers and no other option. You know, I mean, if it was an option, mate, to have Danilo starting instead of Dessers, then 100% I would. Especially if you know he's a bit faster. And a better finisher from what we've seen of Dessers. He certainly doesn't need to have as many chances to score. You don't have any other option in the 10 if you play it. We need Cherny to be the end of the game. I was a little disappointed in his press conference when he came in saying that he's not ready to start. Maybe he's just been too honest, but for me, it's just not something we needed to hear. Like, don't ruin it before the game started. But also, that's the manager's decision whether he's ready to start or not his. So I'm disappointed he said that, but I hope he is ready for this weekend. This game tomorrow night. Unless you change formation, Lawrence really is the only option. You're going to play Kieran Dowell. That's worse. So I maybe would like what Dean was saying to have Sterling in the midfield and just have Tav at the back and have a stronger middle of the field. But the thing is, mate, it's the options. There's very little other options for me to give you a dramatically different team.
I know, mate. I know. I don't think Sterling is going to play in midfield because I don't see the manager using him there. I don't know why. I would like to see it as well because I think it brings a presence into midfield. I think it would potentially fix our problems. Drop it 10, put Dujon in the 6. Sorry, Billy, you go say.
Did he not play at Parkhead in the middle of midfield?
Centre back, did he not?
Was he right? Sorry, mate. Yeah, sorry.
He went into centre back when Lundstrom got sent off. He was left back. He started at Parkhead, was it not?
Right.
He's played that many positions. It's hard to.
Yeah, I could be getting confused, mate.
It's hard to keep up, but that would solve your problem. I mean, drop the 10 and put him in the 6 and let the other two go and do what they want to do and connect the game and whatever else. Try and figure out how to kick a ball at each other because that's all we really, really need to do. Ricky, where are you on a lineup for tomorrow night? Would you want to see? Do you think there's going to be a wee bit more rotation than that, or would you? What's your opinion?
You're not going to be far off there, Scotty. going on to Dino's sort of a kind of 5-4-2. Matondo and Czerny, whether it's those two, are definitely going to start because you're going to need some width. So whether it's those two, and Matondo right, I actually probably prefer right to Matondo because I just think Matondo's a donkey. I'm perfectly honest with you. And it's saying a lot when right's a better player.
They are, Ricky.
Yeah. Czerny, we've got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Dessers, who they spoke about, he's the only. Let's think, he scored a cracking goal last season. Again, Besiktas, didn't he? Down in Seville. It was a great goal. So, yeah, Lawrence is maybe the only one that could come out of there to be a little bit more defensive. Sterling in the middle of the park, we tap back in there, and that's giving you that 5-4-1 potentially, or 5-3-2. Your two fullbacks, as long as Taff comes in there, Lawrence drops out. But you're going to play with two wingers. Just you need that option to try and get the goal, and that probably will be the two. But if Matondo does play, just use your pace and go and try and exploit your pace because that's all you've got. You've got nothing else going for you.
Dino, what about you? Where are you at on a lineup for tomorrow night?
I didn't see the manager changing anything. I'd like to see what I suggested, but I can't see it. And given the availability that we have, that's probably the only maybe difference, I guess, if Dessers comes off and Danilo starts.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, we've got a £6 million striker who is not playing and is apparently fit enough to go. So if he's fit enough to go and be on the bench, then he's fit enough to start. Maybe that's an old school, maybe tunnel vision way of thinking, but I think if a player's fit enough to sit on the bench, they're fit enough to be on the pitch, and Danilo's better than Dessers. So that's where I'm at. But other than that, that's your team, yeah.
That's fair, mate. That's fair. Right, we'll finish off with our score predictions for tomorrow night. I'm going to go 2-0 Rangers. I'm hoping that they're going to come out and prove us all wrong, and this is going to kickstart our season tomorrow night. I think it's also, just to put Europe into context, we need to remember that Europe's a free hit this season. We're in a major rebuild as it is. There's a lot of incomings and outgoings. There's a lot of unrest. I think anybody can see that. That the squad is fairly unsettled just now. We're not anywhere near where we would like to be. So I think we need to focus in domestic football this season, and Europe will take care of itself. Billy, score prediction, please, and your European expectations for Champions League.
Well, just to clear up something I think Dean said, we're in the group stages of the Europa League no matter what the result is this time.
Right.
So I just want to clear that up. Obviously, we get the parachute payment of the 4 point whatever million euros for getting through this round. Another kind of negative thing, Ricky said, getting them back at Ibrox. Unfortunately, we're getting them back at Hampden, Ricky. So it's we're losing that kind of extra wee thing. So I'm going to say it's going to be 2-0 to Kiev, but I just don't see us doing anything, Scott. I'd love to say 2-0 to us, but I'd be lying if I said that's what I really believed. And 2-0 keeps us in the tie, but I'd be more confident coming back to Ibrox with 2-0 than going to Hampden, I'm afraid. But we'll see. We've not played our first home game there yet. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 to them, I'm afraid.
That's fair, mate. That's completely fair. I respect the honesty. I really do. Ricky, where you at? Score predictions and your thoughts on, are you bothered about the Champions League? Should we be bothered about the Champions League? Should we be expecting anything for the Champions League?
Well, I think the Champions League for us financially is a must. Them across the city guys are just running away financially for us. We cannot keep allowing them to just put in all this money in the bank, or they'll just put us to bed forever. They could have done it years ago, by spending, and that's my biggest problem. They open the biscuit tin, so to speak, and just leave us in the slipstream. So yes, the Champions League money for us, I think it's essential. Yes, we much prefer a Thursday night in Europa League because that's the kind of level that we can compete at realistically. But just getting that money in the Champions League just keeps us in touch. So for me, it's imperative. Tomorrow night, Billy, just quickly on, I really haven't got any major problems about the first couple of months at Hampden. It's a big old pitch. We always seem to play quite well at Hampden. I know it's generally semi-finals or finals, but I don't have any reservations about going in a big pitch at Hampden and not performing, because we generally play quite well there. So I don't have an issue with it. We all want the circumstances now as to why it could be the September international break. It could even be longer, but I don't have any reservations about Hampden. But tomorrow night, Billy, I'm with you. I reckon they'll beat us by 2. 3-1, 2-0. I just don't see us getting in from the game yet. I'm perfectly honest. I just hope it's no more than 2, and it gives us that fighting chance when we get back to Hampden.
Right, so just to interrupt, there's been an update for Philippe come on in his press conference, and he says Oscar Cortez did not travel. He'll be out for around 45 weeks after a scan. It was a really unlucky fall with a twisted knee. It is an injury from a collision. Robin Proper is fit, but he's had a few busy days off the pitch. He had to sort since arriving in Scotland with his family, so that tells me he's on the bench. He says that Proper will be an important player in the future of the club. That's Cortez. But an important player in the future of the club. It is a blow, but this is part of football for every club. We need to focus on a fast rehab. The quality in our rehab is better than last season, so we know he will come back even better. Right, Dino. Same to you, mate. I'm looking for score prediction and your thoughts on the Champions League.
I want to try and remain positive and optimistic here, but man, I'm struggling. 3-0 to them. Sorry, but that's honestly how I think it's going to go. And in terms of Champions League, yeah, for the financials, definitely. But with the players that we've got, no thanks. As Ricky said there, Europa League is our level.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, it is. Obviously the financial windfall of getting into the Champions League, you would be able to obviously buy quality, but then we're going to be waiting another year till they'll be able to play in Europe because of the squad registration. So that completely is at this moment in time. But obviously we can sign better players to make us win the league. So, but I'm fine with just not. Well, I'm saying 3-0. I hope it's not. I hope it's a lot closer. I hope I'll get really, really proven wrong. I'll happily hold my hands up and say I got it wrong with a smile on my face, and we can not get embarrassed and come back to Hampden and hopefully get through. But yeah, I'm at peace with the Champions League this year, as we're going through a rebuild, and the rebuild is not going to be done overnight. We're going to probably have to have patience for a long time. I think for it to be where we want it to be. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Cool, mate. Cool. Well, I'm relieved that WhatsApp Loyal have failed with the rumours today, because we'd all heard that Cortez was out for the full season. He's out for 5 weeks. That tells you don't read and believe everything you see, especially on WhatsApp or Twitter. It's an absolute minefield just now. As I says, I'm going for a 1 or 2-0 win for Rangers tomorrow night. I think that our form in Europe is going to get our season up and running. I've still got faith in come on in terms of with the Betis result, it won the League Cup. I think there's something there. I just think we need to urge patience amongst the support and amongst everybody. So, gents, thank you for joining me tonight. And remember, every night is Rangers Journal night.